One of the things that kind of pisses me off a lot is that people really have a bad understanding of banks, and it's like um, you can't function and operate. You put it like this: if you're a small business, you're starting out, or you looking to get into real estate, why are you banking or with a bank that doesn't want to give you a loan? That's the dumbest thing in the world to me. So a lot of people don't really understand banking and how it works, and they have a misconception of it, and they think that banks are like this government ran entity that you can't do anything about. So I'm going to dispel a lot of myths with banks so that you fully understand what you're getting yourself into when you start a relationship with a bank. Number one, when you give banks your money, it is no longer your money. When you give banks your money, it is now their money. What does that mean? That means that when you make a deposit into your account, you're giving the bank a loan, which is why they're supposed to give you interest. All right? You think they give you interest for fun? No, you're giving them money, and there's now their money, and your account balance represents an IOU, basically what they owe you. And then they take your money, and through fractionalization, they can lend about 9 times more than that. So I'll give you an example. So if a bank has $100 in the account, they can lend out $90, and they have to keep 10 in reserves. So whatever you deposit, you multiply that times 9. That's what they can lend out. That's the first myth that you need to get out of. So if you're lending the bank money and they don't want to lend you money, I'll take it a step further. You're lending the bank money at maybe 1%, okay? And they're taking your money and lending it out at 7 to 8%. And the reality is that you're giving them money so they can loan out, and yet they don't want to lend you money at a higher interest rate. And some of you guys just go through it like it's no problem, like, oh, this is just how it is, this is how it works. No, that's not how it works. You're getting ripped off. Here's another thing. I want you to put this in context. Then they tell you, if you don't lend us a certain amount of money, we're going to charge you a quote-unquote a maintenance fee. So if you lend us less than $2,500, we're going to charge you $15 to $25 for lending us too little money. And that makes sense to some of you. And you still, quote-unquote, continue to give them their money. I could break down a lot of banking myths. I'll give you another one, and you can take this one. All money is paper. I'll go back and I'll bring it forward. When money was invented, it was that back in the long time ago, way before any of us were born, they used to barter and trade gold, right? So gold was stored at a bank. So if I had a transaction with somebody, rather than me go and take a wheelbarrow and ship and send them gold, I would just write a piece of paper or a note. And I would say, listen, John, I want to buy this from you. You give me the product, whatever the case may be, I don't know, a sword, a gun, whatever the case may be. Probably not a gun. This is a lot older than that. A horse, okay? You sell me this horse, I'll give you the gold. But rather than me bring you the gold, I'm going to write you this on this piece of paper. It's called a note. I'm going to give you this note. And you give me the horse. And then when you need to go get the gold, you present that note to the bank. And they'll give you the gold. So John now has this note. And rather than him go and get the gold and bring it back to his bank, What he does, he says, hey, he goes to the next person and says, hey, I got this, can you sell me those shoes? So rather than me giving you the shoes, I'll give you this note that John gave me, and you can take this note to John's bank and get the gold, and I'll give you the shoes. I'll sign my interest to this note to you, and you give me the shoes. So that's the beginning of quote-unquote money. So in the 1970s, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. So up until that point, every dollar that was in the bank was represented by a piece of gold. All right. So what that meant is that now banks can basically print money at will. There's a lot of things that go along with that. I'm not going to get too deep in economics. We get to have a 2-hour conversation about that. But the reality is there's nothing that backs money. The only thing that backs money is people's confidence in it. So really, you see, if everybody stopped believing in the money or they stopped willing to take it, then there's nothing of value left from it. Which is why people say, oh, cryptocurrency, they don't fully get it. Yeah, they wouldn't get it because they don't really understand what money is in the first place. I'll give you another one. Oh, money is part of the government. No. Money is a product of a bank, created based essentially by the bank. Well, the Federal Reserve controls money. Okay. Do you know the Federal Reserve is a private company? I want you to think of like the NFL, right? Where the team owners collectively own the NFL, and they can basically control the commissioner. The Federal Reserve works the same way. So this place that prints the money that determines whether they're gonna lower interest rates. Guess who that's controlled by? The bank. If you look at the Federal Reserve, it's a private company. Guess who it's owned by? The banks. The only power that the government has in it is that they appoint the head of the Federal Reserve. You see where I'm going with this? So the Federal Reserve is nothing more than a central bank. And for all you economists or not economists out there, I can have another 2-hour conversation about that. Here is my point, and I'll get back to it. If you don't understand banks, they will continue to rip you off over and over and over and over again. You talk about getting charged to lend people money. So basically, if you're getting 0.2%, let's say you have $1,000 in your bank account and it doesn't meet the minimum requirement. So they come and they say, because of that, we're going to charge you 15, let's say $20. They're going to charge you $20 a month because of that, a maintenance fee, so to speak. So if you look at it, they're paying you 1% and they're taking back 2% a month. They're paying you 1% annually, but they're taking away from you 2% a month. So in essence, you're paying 24% to loan them money. And that's perfectly okay with people. You can't even walk into your bank and ask for a loan. You can't even walk into your bank and ask them to lift fees that they charging you for you lending them money. If you want to understand and get good at business, you got to figure out and know how to manage and control banks. First and foremost, you need to be able to go into a bank and be able to get things done. Talk to somebody that can help your situation, help your business grow. If a bank can't help your business situation, get a new bank, period. If the Bank of America, they treat people, listen, if you got $38 million, they're very good for you. They take care of you, they roll out the red carpet. But you're banking on a different level. The people that are calling you once you're at that level aren't the local people in your local branch. Another thing, I hate to say this, don't make your main branch in the hood. I don't care if you live in the hood. Do not make your main branch in the hood. Why? Because they treat you a lot different. I'm being honest, okay? if it's a high fraud area, you're gonna have higher security issues. You're gonna have a harder time getting a loan, and they're not gonna sit there and broadcast it and tell you this, but it's a fact. Ask anybody in the banking industry. You want to open a bank? Go to a place that you can use You can go to the hood branch to pull out your money. To go to the ATM. You gotta make a deposit, no problem. But to open the branch, to open your account, don't do it there. I'm telling you, it affects the relationship.